Welcome back. Let's talk about the double whammy that came in from the macro front yesterday. Inflation for the month of January has come in at a shocking 7.6%. This against expectations that it will cool off from December's 7.3% reading to at least 7.2%. And food inflation is once again the key culprit, coming in over 13%. What's worse is that even core inflation, which excludes food and fuel, has climbed. On the other hand, with increasing inflation, growth is declining. December's index of industrial production has shown a contraction of 0.3%. This after a bit of a flourish that we saw of 1.8% in November. So what is at stake and what is Lata's take? We have Lata with us. Lata.
Nothing can be worse for an economy than inflation rising at the same time when growth is falling. That's what's happened. The inflation numbers, because they're mandatorily to be set at 4% by the MPC. We've got a second continuous month of inflation coming in at 7.6, when the expectation was that it would have peaked off from the 7.3 that we saw in December. Food is the culprit, but it is not onions. That is the most important thing. The onion inflation has come down, but there is a big protein inflation. Pulses, milk, meat, eggs, all of them are between 10 and 16%. And these are not one-off. They normally stay once the prices start rising. And just a word on core inflation, which is excluding food and fuel, those have also gone up because the telecom prices have been increased, and there's also been a minor railway price hike. And that's why you're seeing transport and communication also contributing to this core inflation. These again don't go away in a hurry. I'll come back to inflation, but just a word on growth. This is the December number which we've got for industrial growth, and it's bad all over. Overall manufacturing itself is minus 1.2. We thought we would just start ticking higher because we saw coal and power starting to improve in the month of December, but the overall numbers look rather bad. And especially when you look at the capital goods and consumption. Capital goods is a minus 18% contraction. As if that was not enough, consumer durables is a minus 6.7%. And even consumer non-durables, non-durables is soaps, hair oils, these kinds of things, those that don't endure. The FMCG goods, personal products goods, which are perishable. Even that is, in minus, is in contraction. That so severe is the crimping of consumption in the country. Not at all good numbers, but just to come back to inflation, we were all deliriously happy when, although the MPC did not cut rates, the Reserve Bank worked its way around it and tried to reduce interest rates in the system and for the banking sector. But this can't go on. If inflation is higher, if 1 year down the line prices are going to be like 7% higher, you have to give interest rates that are at least higher than inflation. Otherwise, why will anyone save? So there is a severe problem over here. You can't reduce yields when inflation is stubbornly high. That is going to be a problem. See, for a pensioner and people like that, the government will not, in the face of higher inflation, be allowed to bring down small-scale savings interest rates like NSS and say Kisan Vikas Patra. This is going to be an enduring problem, at least for the next few months.
Okay, Lata, thanks a lot for joining us and giving us all those details. Moving on, in less than 2 weeks, US President Donald Trump will be in India, and Ahmedabad is gearing up to roll out the red carpet. This will be his first state visit, and Trump will participate in a large public meeting with Prime Minister Modi, similar to the Howdy Modi event in Houston, which was held 5 months ago. However, even as preparations begin for a gala reception, there is still no clarity on the trade deal between India and the United States. Sources have told CNBC-TV18 that talks have been held for the past few weeks, but some demands from the US are highly ambitious. Rituparna Bhuyan filed a report with more details.
As of now, we cannot say conclusively that a trade deal will be signed or not. In the past couple of weeks, there have been hectic parleys between the Indian and the US side. The Indian side has been led by Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal. The US side, you have had Robert Lighthizer, who's the USTR, and there have been multiple telephonic conversations between these two principal negotiators regarding a limited set of trade related points which could be packaged into a deal. The talks are still on. what's on the table include, firstly, market access as far as Indian farm products are, farm sector is concerned. US wants market access on products like pistachios, almonds, apples, and even poultry products. The second issue is e-commerce related FDI norms. US wants it to be toned down. Amazon, for example, has been speaking to the government regarding this for a long time. In previous US dignitaries, which included US Commerce Secretary who came down to India, had also raised this issue regarding e-commerce, so that is also on the table. Then you have the issue regarding the data related localization. US wants those localization norms to be relaxed. So net the feedback is that the ambition from the US side is very big, and hence talks are still on. From the Indian side, the demand is for restoration of GSP benefits, and there has been no conclusive assurance made by the US side on restoration of those GSP benefits, perhaps because India has been kept out of the definition of a developing country as far as US is concerned, and only a developing country is given GSP benefits by the US. So net talks are still on, and as of now we cannot tell if a trade deal will be signed or not when Donald Trump visits New Delhi.
Ritu, thanks a lot for that. With that, we slip into a short break, come back, we get you the